is there a equality when you were growing up in a boys and girl?
So what you're raising is actually interesting.
Yeah.
So for us, it was kind of a double life
Mm-hmm.
that inside home
Mm-hmm.
you acted and did certain things in a certain way.
Yeah.
Outside, it was kind of different. So
Yeah.
our schools were actually segregated
Yeah.
throughout college. Like that was the first time that boys and girls could sit together in a class
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I do have, I often think about this. That might have had some implications about education. So we'll talk about this later. But for example, in Iran,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have this STEM disparity between boys and girls. So
Yeah.
here, like there are a lot more boys in fields like physics, math,
Yeah.
engineering.
Yeah.
We don't have that in Iran, and I often wonder like whether that segregation kind of helped, because like nobody would tell you that you're worse than a boy.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we have this university entrance exam where based on your performance, you get to pick what you want to study in college. The girls started outperforming boys, so they had to kind of cap their enrollment, like discrimination in that sense.
Yeah. I know, I have some idea why it might be. In India too, the girls, if there's a boy and girl, and if parent had to put like 100,000 on each, they would put 50,000 on boy for education and 50,000 on a girl for like kind of a dowry system at that time, or just like save money for her wedding or anything. So girls were not given equal opportunity to study, to be empowered, or to get a job, right? But whenever a girl was given opportunity, she would just knock it out of the park, and she would do so good that they outperform boy in many ways. And I think still it is sad in small villages, and even like my relatives, my cousins, and my father's side of family and stuff, where the girls, you can clearly see till 10th grade, 12th grade, they are getting better grade than boys, but then they're like, okay, she's going to get married, she doesn't need to do job. And that, I feel like that halted India is growing, but if there was equality between boys and girls were allowed to be empowered, educated, and get a job, and contribute in economy, India would grow much much faster and would be much better society. It sucks that they are not doing it. Yeah.
I totally agree. And so, first of all, I do want to preface that this is my experience, right? Like
Yeah.
another girl in Iran might have a completely different experience. Believe it or not, I think my mom was putting dowry stuff for me.
Yeah.
She was collecting things for when I was going to get married and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that is, or used to be, like a common thing to do
Yeah.
because of the thought that the girl is going to get married and
Yeah.
so on.
Yeah.
And to this day, even though the girls might be outperforming in like university, I think the gap starts showing up later, like in careers, in their opportunities afterwards.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to convey is that at the age of like 7 or 8, they're not bombarded with the idea that, oh, you can't be doing math because you're
Yeah.
worse than a boy. So at least in that sense, there is more equality, but how it evolves over time, that's a different story.
How it evolved, and tell me about that story.
So for example, like imagine they graduate college, like job opportunities now might still favor boys. Or like even so in Iran, like there's the Islamic government and stuff.
Yeah.
Even the girls, like the way they dress, like that could determine whether they're going to get a job or not,
Yeah.
regardless of their performance.
And that is it just the society or people are choosing it, or that's kind of a law?
It's kind of an implicit law.
I see. Yeah.
I remember I was applying for some jobs to be a teacher, like when I was studying in college,
Yeah.
and I simply couldn't get the job because there were like special interviews. Like they were asking me like certain religious questions that I didn't know, and yeah, I didn't get the job because of that.
Yeah.
So it's not about performance and your education. Like there are other factors that play a role that could discriminate against women.
Yeah. It's again, same point in India applies to most of the country where women are not given equal opportunity. I think one of the reason Western countries got success, first reason is they had science. We had culture and heritage and all the, but when the science came, Western countries become, stronger. But during World War II and stuff, when men went for a war, women ran the country, and then women never looked back. In countries like Iran, I don't know much about it, but like you can say India, women didn't get to contribute in society, in the laws as much. Now they are. We had prime minister and all those things, but if you look at like go to small village or small towns, they are not contributing enough in the economy and in the just development of society, and that's I think hurting the country.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that it will change with
It's getting
time.
better in India.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Big cities, it's different story. Even now, small towns too, people understand because some people also learn like we spend so much on the boys and boys don't do anything, and with the little encouragement, girls achieve so much thing, and so one really good thing happened with India. Indian cricket team won World Cup last week, and I
Congratulations.
was emotional and I was so happy, right? Because of those girls winning the World Cup, now other girls will be allowed to play and allowed to be in the sports and say like, okay, look, I can achieve something. I can not just play for fun. I can make money. I can make career out of it. And I was more happy. Like when men's team won the World Cup, I was screaming and yelling and celebrating. When women's team won the World Cup, I was just crying. And I hope that inspire the generation of women.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yes.
How about your family? Your family must be supportive because you went to college and kind of have a kind of liberal mindset when it comes to women's empowerment education.
Yes, even though I come from a relatively traditional family,
Yeah.
they were always super supportive when
Yeah.
it came to education.
Mhm.
We weren't rich, but then every time, like my parents found that I have a passion for something, they would
Yeah.
kind of guide me and help me in that direction with whatever means they could.
Yeah.
So, for example, I was really into math and geometry. So
Mhm.
when they got like a personal tutor from my brother to like teach him math,
Yeah.
they would also allow me to go sit and then like solve some math puzzles and whatnot. So whatever they could, they
Yeah.
really helped me, and
Yeah.
I'm super grateful to them.
Yeah.